Welcome back to Brassionomics, everyone. Heather Moore filling in for Ben Brassion. And with us now, making his return to radio, is Jason Morgan, a professional second grader on the radio. Took a little bit of a hiatus, and he's back with us now. But not only is Jason the owner of iLocal, Inc., a company that develops the complete online marketing strategy for the web development and design for a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. He's also a user of the iTex organized trade system that we were talking about with Cameron Johnson earlier. And I heard you have some exciting news resulting from your partnership with iTex. First of all, welcome to the show, Jason.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, on this Friday, we're actually going to Mexico, Cabo San Lucas on trade. So
wow.
Yeah.
So your family, your coworkers, and you, who's going?
It's just me and my wife.
Perfect. So
yeah.
kind of explain to us, because Cameron was talking about business benefits, and, in the past we've talked about, personal stuff too, how it relates to trade, but kind of explain to us how that works.
Well, trade, for me, it's basically my secret weapon.
Yeah.
You're always going to have your cash customers, and, as a salesman, I always know how to generate that revenue, but there's a whole other set of customers that are out there that most people don't know how to find.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be introduced to it by somebody else who's a very successful business person, and I had to, have an open mind and see what they were doing and kind of take the parts of their business that I thought were obviously helping him, and trade was a huge component of that. And so what I did is proceeded to duplicate virtually everything that they do in terms of trade, and have implemented that into my business, and it's definitely the most secret weapon I have for our business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So basically, you can help clients develop a online website, a marketing strategy, do that work, and then when you're paid in cash, you get to take a vacation on that.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Well, I made a little introduction to your business, iLocal Inc., but why don't you tell me a little bit about your company and kind of what you guys specialize in?
Well, we're a web development firm. First and foremost, that is what we do, is we help small businesses to develop websites. And beyond that, we also help them with content development and also search engine optimization. So we do help them to organically rank their website geographically within the regional communities that they do business in. So that is definitely probably a third of our business that we do and help customers. We're more of a niche business when it comes to that. We have many more web development customers than we do that, because that's much more comprehensive, much more hands-on, and we have to do much more research for those customers.
Yeah.
So that web development was the core of our business, and we definitely also help customers just, get their phone to ring and build good quality websites. We don't build generic websites. I go through every website as it's completed, and I just want to make sure that we don't have a generic product.
Yeah.
So
you're probably someone like me then. When you see someone with kind of a crappy website, it annoys you to no end.
Yeah. Well, how I got started, I've been in advertising for 8 or 9 years before I started my own company in the kind of the corporate world. And I saw so many small business owners that had these websites or were handled by people that were just, they were incompetent to some degree, and in the way that they handled, the way the web presence was. And so I just looked at that and figured, well, the internet is obviously going to be here to stay, and people need a website. And so we just built our business around that. And I definitely do see sites that will never get phone calls, and sometimes you just can't relay that to people. But there's a lot of businesses that's the whole purpose they're in business, is to get a phone call, and that's our market. So,
what do you think about a website would deter someone from calling or contacting that business?
Well, there's many things about a website that could deter them. Actually, everybody has their own opinion. What's simple to one person is that's what they want, and to other people they want it to be more flashy, or they want it to have more content, or it has too much content, or it doesn't have enough content. So that's really the toughest part. I just try to really look at, from a marketing standpoint of how the pages are laid out, and if it's just good quality, in terms of, you look at the site, is there depth to it? If you look at another web developer or some of these corporate places that have commercials and they have all these different marketing strategies to help try to get you through your bookkeeping services or whatever to have a website, and I look at their product, and I can assure you that it is a very, very generic website that has no intelligence at all to it. And so at the very least, that's my big thing, is I go through and I want to make sure our sites, just our basic, most simple basic sites, are way more elaborate than our competition. So.
Absolutely. And yeah, you mentioned, generic websites need some tuning up sometimes. Are there other common areas that these small and medium companies you work with need the most help with in regards to the services you offer?
I would say, I mean, the other main reason, obviously, that was my motive to start our business, was that, a person that has a dental office or a plumbing office or, or a plumbing business, or any other kind of business, that is what their focus is, and that's what they're busy doing. And they're so handcuffed by having. I have a customer right now that just sent me an email yesterday because they're with another telecom provider that's kind of new to the area, and they're like, I don't want them to have any control over our website because I don't know what's going to happen. We've invested a lot into it, and those are our customers.
Yeah.
And so our customers are the people that need to have somebody that they can trust, that are going to take care of them, and then they get a product and they say, wow, we've never had a website quite like this. So, that's really the hands-on in terms of how we communicate and talk to our customers and always answer our phones. So they just know that they can rely on us, because I'm telling you, in the small business world, there are business owners that are handcuffed and held hostage with their website in one way or another.
Yeah, so. and sometimes I think with small business owners, they feel like they have to do everything and want control. But talk a little bit about the advantages of hiring a company like yours.
Well, I mean, I do admire the people to a degree that do that, but there's no way that a person that is running a business full time is, as in depth as we are to doing what we do. On a daily basis, we're in tune with the fluctuations of everything in the web world, with websites, with content, with just software, with upgrades, and things like that. And so it's we are the professionals in regards to that. And when the layman's putting together a site, we've heard it from it's the nephews to my cousin to my daughter to my son-in-law to me to my wife, and every one of those sites are, I'd say maybe 2% of them ever probably have some sort of capacity, but we're just more efficient. And, it's those people, it's great that they can do that, but they're using a lot of their own resources which should be used for revenue generating activities, where we have a great number of sites that are definitely revenue generating. So we put call tracking on our websites. We can tell you, by how many calls the site's getting. It's like the heart monitor. We analyze the site traffic, and we're very transparent. We share that with our customers every single month. So there's just a lot of different things. You have to be really in tune. This is how you survive. This is how your business is ran. Is to generate revenue. And if you have something that's not plugged in, you're gonna miss a step. And we all know how many businesses don't make it.
Yes.
And I'm amazed at the amount of people that will set up a business and then they'll say, I don't want to spend that is a lot of money to spend $2,500 for a website. It's like that's the biggest gamble you ever made in your life, to go into business for yourself. And if you can't invest $2,500 in your website, I'm not going to be surprised,
if your business doesn't work out.
So.
Well, it's interesting, having a good web presence is so important these days. And yes, anybody can create a website, but there's so much more that goes along with it, and that's, more complicated than just putting it there. We always used to say, at this company I used to work for, yes, you can have a website, spend all the money you want on building a website, but what's the point if nobody's going to find it?
Yeah.
And you help with that aspect as well.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really try to focus on, because, even with my wife, or we go on trips, or we're waiting in the airport, or if we're waiting anywhere, I always have my phone, I'm always doing searches, and I'm always looking at different things. And I'm recognizing different types of things, whether they're directories that are showing up online, and the different placements that I believe Google shares for different types of businesses and different types of sites and different types of mediums. And so I'm looking at that all the time. And, if you're sitting in front of somebody putting floors in all day, you're not going to have that same perspective that I have. And so it's, that's in terms of helping people get their site done. I just that's what I get a kick out of the most, you know.
Absolutely. Well, you're invested in it full time, and you know, if their business is, as you mentioned before, plumbing, you shouldn't expect them to be as much of a pro and a specialist, and obviously, you know, achieve the same success with their online presence. And again, we're here with Jason Morgan, owner of iLocal Inc. We have time for one more question, and I wanted to ask you, what do you think a company needs to do in order to have a successful online presence? Or what do you do to help them have a successful online presence?
Well, my strategy, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, you could look at a website and you could the demographics and the competitive nature or the density of the market was a lot smaller. And so, you know, you could have a 5-page website that wasn't really even optimized. It didn't have any of the key pressure points that were aiming in any direction that any of the technology was trying to pick up to find something locally, and you could come up first page Google. It's so competitive now. There's so many national directories that are coming in, so many national advertisers, that it's my belief that, you know, to really have a good, stable website, the bigger the website, the better. You always want to have good quality, but I have so many websites and I analyze so many websites that I assure you that every one of my sites that are bigger than smaller generate more revenue.
What do you mean bigger?
Well, by pages, by 20-page, 30-page, 50-page, 80-page, 100-page websites. You just have more directions that.
And explain to people what pages mean too.
Well, you know, you got your home page, you have your about page, you have your roofing page, your plumber page, or you know, your commercial roofing page. Okay. So those are different pages, and so it's so competitive that I really, my big thing is I'm preparing my customers for 5 or 6 years from now. Yeah. And you're really doing your customer a disservice if you're just buying a $499 website off of an ad you see on TV, because they're just going to get you maybe word of mouth and referral type stuff, but they're not going to build your business for economic growth. And what we're doing and why we have such a high retention with our website is that we build sites that are stable and they're bigger, and they get them and they see their competition or what they had before, and they go, wow, this is 7 times bigger than what we had before. And generally, those sites generate phone calls. You know, I have many sites that generate over 65 calls a month.
That's great. Well, if if you're a small or medium business owner out there, you have questions for Jason, you want to learn more, you can find him on our Facebook page. And if you think you have a great website but want a second opinion, maybe call as well. I want to thank you so much, Jason, for joining us again. Jason Morgan with iLocal Inc. My name's Heather Moore. You're listening to Brashonomics, and we'll be back right after this break with everybody back on the mics.